And welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, our Thursday edition of the Paul Farrington Show. Paul joined alongside Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game. We had to restart our intro because I came in lacking enthusiasm. Zach said it was a little dull.
Well, it's hump day. It's the evening.
We're tired. But no, it's a good call from the best executive producer in the game. We appreciate you guys spending some time with us, whether you're listening at home, on the road, wherever you are. Thanks for spending the time. If you like this video, please give it a like. Leave a comment if you like it or hate it, honestly. As we always say, we can take hate comments. We've received plenty.
We've been taking hate comments for a year now.
Yeah, and when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I think we're going to go through our best hate comments, and maybe even some positive ones. And make sure to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can find the Paul Farrington Show under the handle. I believe is all of them are at Farrington Show.
I gotta put it out there. My favorite hate comments are always the guys that go, "These guys don't know ball." What do you mean?
That's what you get that no matter what you do. If you're positive for someone, they'll say that. If you're negative on someone, it's always
I just love the
sides.
Ball part. Like, just say football.
I got one. There's one comment towards me. Remember, it says, "This guy in the sunglasses doesn't know anything."
Not ball.
I was just laughing at that.
Anything.
Yeah, just doesn't know anything.
I mean, you know how the saying goes. Originally, the saying goes like, you can't make everyone happy. I've discovered from doing this show that that's actually false. You can't make anyone happy.
You can't make anyone happy. Yeah.
No, like whatever take you give, everyone who's even disagrees just a little bit. You say the Steelers are a 10-win team. People who think they're only going to win 9 games start ridiculing you.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Double digits? Are you guys idiots? Did you watch last season?
I get the opinion, but it's silly.
So
we love silly, though.
We'll have some prediction episodes coming up, like full season predictions. I know we've been doing the division previews, some fantasy stuff coming. I know we're having our draft soon. That'll be exciting. Ziggy and I are in the middle of a rookie draft.
I have yet to do my punishment for losing the league last year.
No, Jack
I got to pick a time to do that.
A beer mile.
Maybe this weekend. Maybe Saturday or something we could do that.
Yeah, any good punishments that you have, throw them in the comments section. We're still thinking.
Well, not for me. For the next year, we're thinking.
And you know what my brother told me today, just before we get into the Chiefs here? It's the AFC West, if you haven't caught on. That's the that's the episode today. My brother said that there's a new Barbenheimer coming out soon, which no one's going to see this one. It won't have the same steam. Apparently, Saw Patrol. So whatever Saw movie is coming out and the Paw Patrol movie on the same day. And that's the new Barbenheimer, the Saw Patrol. We'll see.
That's like trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, no, that's like Barbenheimer. At least you could kind of pull in from other audiences, like, oh, that's interesting, nuclear bomb, or like Barbie looks funny. Paw Patrol, like you're either under 10, or there are people who like Saw and people who don't. That's why I was talking earlier, Ziggy, when we watched that at one of our friends' houses, and we're both stunned at what we were seeing. One of the
scarier experiences in my life, we're watching Saw. The guy next to us we've like never met, that's talking about how he like tricked our friend into beating the crap out of some kid.
Yeah, in like a wrestling match. It was a weird night.
Is it weird? I've never seen. I don't know what Saw is.
No, it's not weird. They're weird torture movies. Horror movies.
I've heard of them. I've never seen.
It's horrible. Never watch it. With that said, let's go into the Kansas City Chiefs. What a great transition.
Torturous division.
They torture opponents.
I mean, yeah, they're really, really good, and they may have even just gotten better this year. The Chiefs, as we know, Super Bowl champions. They lose Eric Bieniemy, their offensive coordinator. You know, he goes over to Washington for the same position. Kind of a weird departure there, but he's been expected to be a head coach for years, but things keep popping up. We're not exactly sure what. For the Chiefs, the offensive line is one thing we'll mention real quick. They lose, well, maybe not lose, but they let Orlando Brown Jr. go to the Bengals, and they bring in Jawan Taylor from the Jaguars. He'll be playing right tackle. He won't be filling in at left tackle. That'll be Donovan Smith from the Buccaneers, who had a down year last year, but has generally been very good. So both those guys who are coming in actually might be better than the tackles they've had the past few seasons. If anything, it's not really much of a regression on the line for the Chiefs. So still really good offensive line. The defense is underrated, and everything always comes down to Patrick Mahomes. When you have him, you can win with basically anybody. I mean, their receivers are, we were talking right before we started, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore. If you put those three receivers on basically any other team in the league, you're not going to generate much offensively. But when you have the best quarterback maybe ever, it tends to work out.
Yeah,
and an elite tight end.
And and one of the best tight ends ever. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you here, Paul. There's not much that I have to say on Kansas City besides the fact that as long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on their team
and Andy Reid, your guy.
No, coaching doesn't matter to me. But as long as you have the best quarterback of all time and one of the best tight ends of all time, and that duo, they'll be the front runner in the AFC for years to come.
Yeah, I mean
that's all there is to it. I mean, if you put most quarterbacks, if you replace Mahomes with most quarterbacks now in the league with the weapons they have, I don't think the Chiefs strike much fear into really anybody.
But with what they have,
with him and Travis Kelce.
Look, I know you're not a huge. For some reason, you're not a big Andy Reid guy, but the Chiefs haven't lost this division since 2016.
I think he just rode off McNabb and Mahomes.
Alex Smith was there for a while too. But again, the Chiefs haven't lost the division since the 2015 season when Denver won it. So it's just been a dominant ride. I mean, we're talking about honestly, a dynasty soon if they get another one.
I don't think their roster is full of world beaters.
They have a lot of good players.
They do, but I just think Patrick Mahomes is that good.
Yeah. Ziggy, what was it that you said right before we started about the Chiefs winning and losing Super Bowls?
Look, we've seen what the Chiefs look like when they have a bad offensive line and a bad defense. They lose in the Super Bowl. Right? When you have a good offensive line or a good defense, one of the two, then they win the Super Bowl. Right? Like, this team is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's Patrick Mahomes in every single year he's started has made the AFC Championship game.
Hosted.
Yeah, hosted
the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
game.
like that's just silly. Like, you can't. Maybe this team doesn't win the Super Bowl next year, but I can't bet against them in good conscience making the AFC Championship game. They're just that much better than everyone else.
I was talking to my brother the other day, another Steeler fan, and it was just funny. He's like, we're talking about the Steelers and how we're expecting to be okay, and he was like, you know what stinks? As long as Mahomes is on Kansas City, like, we're probably not going to do anything. Because
unless you get one of those quarterbacks.
Because we're going to have to go into Kansas City in the playoffs and just get destroyed.
There was something funny that his wife said on the quarterback show when they were talking about playing some sort of game it was. And she just said, like, Patrick never loses anything. And I kind of found that funny because that's the feeling you get when you watch the Chiefs. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Again, the Bills game, 13 seconds left. If there's time on the clock, you feel like Patrick Mahomes is going to win. He's kind of got a little bit, he feels like the Steph Curry to some degree of the NFL, just like how explosive he is offensively. I've always had that connection in my head for some reason. And it's just this, this guy is a winner at the end of the day. That's what he does. We talked about Kelce obviously being great. Mahomes is great. The receiving corps is weak, but they have Patrick. The interior of the O-line too. Thuney and Creed Humphrey. Like, you go across this whole offense, it's great. Let's look at the defense here for a second. It's a good unit. It's underrated because of what you have on the offensive side of the football and the fireworks in Kansas City. But the D-line, Chris Jones is really all that they have in terms of star power. But at the end of the day, he's really all you need. He's one of the highest graded players in football last season. 12.5 sacks in 11 games. Linebackers, no real stars, but some guys who are great against the run, great in coverage. They bring in Drew Tranquill from the Chargers, a Notre Dame guy. Drew Tranquill, I will say real quick, was one of the coolest dudes when he was on campus. Like, played with a broken arm, team captain, had a wife, and was like a 3.8 GPA. And the guy was just unbelievable. And then
a 3.8 GPA in chemical engineering.
Right? Oh, chemical engineering. Yeah. The dude is just crazy. And then if you go back to the secondary, L'Jarius Sneed, really good. And Trent McDuffie's, during his rookie year, became one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Like, everywhere you look, this team is good. So there's not much more to say other than that they're really good, the favorites, and seeing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll say one thing real quick. Sorry, Ziggy, before you go. It'll be brief. The first thing is the fact that the Notre Dame starting linebacker had a 3.8 is why Notre Dame football will never win anything.
He's in the NFL. She's on the Super Bowl champions.
And second, I don't care. That's not Notre Dame.
That's luck. That's just luck of the draw.
That's fellow.
That means he's a really good
That's playing
player.
with fellow pros. That's playing with
He's
fellow
a
pros.
really good
That's
player.
playing with fellow pros.
He's a 12th best coverage grade in football at linebacker. He's a really good.
When did they pick
player.
him in the draft?
It doesn't matter. When did they draft Tom Brady? It's like it doesn't matter.
Well,
he's good.
You think bound linebackers are 3/8? No.
He's good.
Tom Brady's 1 in a million.
And then the second thing I want to bring up is you mentioned Chris Jones, the only real superstar, your star defensive player they have, and it kind of reminds me of not as good, but it reminds me of T.J. Watt in a sense when he's there on the field when he's making plays. A star like that can kind of boost the entire defense, like what T.J. Watt does. The rest of the defense plays better when a guy like that's there. And this unit defensively is good enough where the offense will be scoring 30-plus points and games shouldn't really even be close. Like, if the defense was bad, it's one thing, but this defense is good. Good, and I wouldn't say great. I'd say very good.
Yeah, like that's the scary thing about Kansas City.
Yeah, and that's what makes them near impossible to beat. It's like tackling a bear to beat them.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about how important Chris Jones is. He's like the
like
TJ Watt, and that
Like
well, that helps.
sorry, Ziggy.
I'm sorry.
No.
That was a ridiculous comment out of nowhere.
It's trying to tackle a bear.
It's like tackling Zach coming at you.
Yeah,
Healthy
yeah,
Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
tackling a healthy Zach.
All right,
coming right at you.
I'm sorry, Ziggy.
Tackling
No,
a bear is
we're good.
easier.
Ziggy's been interrupted like 8 times every time he's trying to speak.
Go for it.
We're good. I will say,
One of the things.
I will come to New Jersey and beat your ass.
All right, go ahead.
Wait, it's like
What?
it's like Ziggy's rat infestation. Infestation.
Infestation.
Hey, we gotta let the
It
guy
just keeps
speak.
coming back.
We don't have
Yeah.
to talk
All right,
about
go
the
for it,
rats.
go for it.
I don't want to think about the rats. Look, Chris Jones, a star like that, you can see why he's holding out and why he's trying to get a big deal. My guess is he wants something just under what Aaron Donald's being paid. Something like that $28 to $30 million range. And especially with Chris Jones leaving for the Broncos, it'll be interesting to see how the Chiefs handle this, because I can absolutely see them letting him walk, right? Deciding, we've got a good offense. We don't want to fork over star kind of money. We've done well without you, or without like investing heavily in players.
Mhm.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle this, because if they let him walk, I mean, the defense doesn't have a whole lot of talent.
I mean, it's
I don't
still
know.
a very good defense, but he's the guy. Like he is the leader of that defense.
Every great defense in the NFL has the guy,
Yep.
right? Whether it's Aaron Donald or TJ Watt or Khalil Mack on
Micah
some of those great
Parsons.
beer defenses. Yeah, Micah Parsons. Like no matter how much talent you have to have the guy up front.
Yeah,
or you'll never be a
49ers
great
too.
defense.
Bosa,
Nick Bosa. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. But definitely, it is not a guarantee that he'll stay with the Chiefs. I actually think he's gone.
How old is he?
Wow.
Do we know how old he is?
He's 29.
He's 29. All right.
I was gonna say
I think he's a young 29 too. I think he turned 29 less than a month
I
ago.
think he's like 40.
He does look like he.
I mean,
he's good.
bro's
Yeah,
got
like
50.
he's
He had
good.
15 sacks last.
You're telling me that guy's not even 30 yet? That guy's only 4 years older than us?
did he have 15? I thought he had 12 and a half. Oh, wow, jeez. Sheesh. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know
That's
who reminds him and Calais Campbell like remind me of each other. I don't know why.
Campbell's probably like 26. Hell,
No,
Campbell's old.
Campbell's old.
I know, okay.
But the way they play is just so similar.
When you were talking great players on great defenses, I was gonna be like Daniil Hunt. And I'm like, maybe not. Maybe not.
It's not sufficient to have the guy, but you have to have the guy.
Yes. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, fresh off a 5-year, $265 million deal, biggest contract ever in the NFL. To some degrees, I mean, not more than Mahomes collectively, but on that per year basis. I want to focus this conversation towards Brandon Staley. We had a comment on it, but when someone was looking forward to the AFC West show and just said, I would love to hear your guys' opinions. Actually, he wants us to roast Brandon Staley. The Chargers decided to keep him. They're maintaining their head coach. But Chargers fans are mad. I mean, they're only 19-16 with him over the past 2 years. There's been a lot of questionable decision-making going back to 2021 when there were those fourth down analytical decisions, and I know it cost them against Kansas City once. The Raiders, they called that timeout, which I went back and watched it. It wasn't really as bad as I remember, but in the moment when they called timeout, do you remember that game where they tied and they both go to the playoffs?
What do you mean don't remember that game?
Oh, no,
That sent us to the playoffs.
Yeah, that did send
Yeah,
you
of
guys.
course I was. Yes.
Like, in the moment, it felt like that timeout kind of convinced the Raiders to go to, like, try and pick up the first. Maybe. I mean, they still ran the ball, so I'm not sure.
Because they were going to... That game
I
was
thought they were
over.
going to let the time run
That
out.
game was over.
But, so, I mean, people were questioning that. And then, obviously, last year, They're 6-6. You got to give them credit. They get hot. They had a lot of injuries. Rashawn Slater was out. Allen was banged up. But they're finally 10-6. Then they're going to go to the playoffs, a meaningless game against Denver. And Staley trots out the starters, and Mike Williams gets hurt, and he actually misses the playoff game with I think he had a back fracture. And then Joey Bosa, he played, but he also banged himself up in that game. And then that was followed up by a 27-0 collapse. So just like a lot of questionable decisions around Staley, things that you'd imagine other coaches would get fired for and not get away with over and over again. But he's still there. I'll start with you, Ziggy. Do you think that the Chargers are just shooting themselves in the foot here over and over again by keeping Staley around?
I mean, here's it's certainly not. Brandon Staley has certainly struggled with some things, but he's a first-time head coach. The team has generally performed all right with him around, right? The first year is going to be a tough transition year. The second year, there was the really unfortunate collapse, but they also went up 27-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think this year is the do or die year. You have to have success in the playoffs, but were they really going to go out and get a better offensive-minded or defensive-minded head coach? I mean, maybe, but the guys were
Sean Payton.
Yeah,
which a lot of people don't think he would have even gone there. But I mean, if you get Sean Payton with Justin Herbert now,
yeah, but say you can't get Sean Payton, or you just can't get yourself to give up the first, then you could get maybe DeMeco Ryans, a first-year head coach who we haven't seen anything from. There are a lot of questions, so I don't think it's unreasonable to stick with him at least for one more year.
Okay, so you're cool with it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that decision last year to play their starters against Denver was a terrible move.
Really?
I think if you have a playoff game the week after, I think they should be playing football the week before.
Yeah, but the Vikings had their position locked up, and they trotted out the guys for a quarter and a half or so.
But here's the other thing, too. The Chargers being up 27-0 in Jacksonville, Mike Williams being there or not, does not prevent what happened.
Maybe not, but Mike Williams is...
Mike Williams being hurt, they're up 27-0.
It's just when you combine both of them and you see the decision backfire against the Broncos like that, and then up 27-0. And I'll be fair to them, they missed a 40-yard field goal in that game. A lot went wrong, but it was just they couldn't stop Jacksonville. I mean, they were getting torched.
Right, but
no adjustments.
That's not Mike Williams being hurt.
No, but that's Staley though. He's getting outcoached by Peterson the entire second half because Peterson's making adjustments, and Staley's just getting annihilated.
I also do think that the Chargers are a decent football team on both ends. Nothing special, but decent.
Maybe better on paper than they actually are.
Yes. I think they are hurt by automatically being a wild card team at best every year. I mean, and you can't fault them because who would win the AFC West?
I can win the division. Just win the division.
But that's
not happening.
Just find out. They're a talented team. They have a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Nobody in the NFL will win that division.
They have to play against the top 1 quarterback.
Twice.
I know, but
twice.
I understand, but we could just sit here and throw a pity party for the Chargers. Go win your division. Find a way to win.
Hold on. The Chiefs going 14-3 every year. You can tell the Chargers to go in your division. Nobody else would.
They're talented enough to
win.
win.
The Vikings to go win the division every year, placing Rodgers.
We did win we won last year.
Yeah, against Aaron Rodgers and his misfits of crew.
I get it. What I'm saying is, I don't want to just say to the chart. If you go in as a Chargers fan, you're all right, we're screwed. It's that team is talented enough to win the AFC West. There's enough talent on the roster to win it. They're a very good football. The Raiders cannot win the AFC West.
I don't know if the Chargers go in the AFC West.
But what are they missing? They have a top 5 quarterback, a great offensive line. I mean, I guess the run defense is horrible.
The difference to me in Mahomes and Herbert is astronomical.
The defense is there's.
But the Chargers, they're a 10-11 win team. They'll go on the road in the playoffs and they will lose. You can't expect much more than that, in my opinion.
I mean, you can expect more than that. You got to be able to win a playoff game. But you talk about the defense. I agree the run defense isn't great. The thing that really worries me, actually, is the defensive back depth. Right? The J.C. Jackson signing last year looked awful. Right? People remember he got injured, and that's true. But he also got benched before he was injured.
He did not play well.
And I mean, look, Asante Samuel Jr. is an excellent cornerback. No complaints there. But who have they got behind them?
I think Michael Davis played well in.
Yeah, Michael Davis was good, but that you've got Derwin James, safety, excellent, but often injured, right? If Asante Samuel Jr. or Michael Davis get injured, or you want to trot out more than 2 defensive backs or cornerbacks on a play, like what is Alohi Gilman going to do it at safety?
Hey, dude.
J.C. Jackson going to do it?
Gilman fan here. Look, I think that there are concerns you could say with depth, but most teams have depth concerns. If Jackson's able to somewhat return to the form they were expecting, like he should play week 1. All indications are that he'll be okay. He's playing in 11-on-11s. I think he looks good too so far in practice, they're saying. If he can return to form, you're talking about a secondary that could really rise up the ranks in the NFL. But yeah, you're right. Like we're talking about guys who are very injury prone, so there's definitely concerns there.
I also think Justin Herbert is super, super talented and has been a little bit underwhelming. I've seen him make some unbelievable plays, and I've seen him make some atrocious decisions and plays as well.
That might be true, but Joe Lombardi's offense certainly did not help.
Well, they got new guys coming in.
That might be true as well, yeah. But I
mean,
think he has to play a little better as well.
Have you seen Justin Herbert's arm? They had him 39th out of 40 quarterbacks in average depth of target. Kellen Moore is going to come in, change that right quick, and you're going to see what Justin Herbert can do next year.
Look, he has moments where you're watching him and you say, like, all right, this guy, might even be a top 3.
The potential he has is through the roof.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was hurt for a fair bit of last year. People forget about that rib injury, but when he first came back in that game, he almost couldn't move.
I'm trying to remember who. I was trying to remember that. Who were they playing in that? Was that
the Colts game?
I can't remember who they were. You remember the game though where he was running up the field?
Oh no, it was Kansas City. Remember, he took
like
that.
He's clutching his stomach. It was an unbelievable performance from him. I guess when we look at this team collectively, the Brandon Staley. This is the year, like you gotta win a playoff game at least.
Here's the thing too, is like whenever I'm looking at the schedule for the slate that week, and I see Chiefs versus Broncos, I'm like, all right, the Chiefs are gonna molest them. When I see Chargers Broncos, I'm like, oh, Denver could have a chance in this game. That's the difference to me. I think the Chiefs are so much better than every other team in that division.
I think they can compete with Kansas City. Like if the Chargers won the division, I wouldn't be stunned. I would be really surprised if Denver did. I'd be shocked if the Raiders did.
You're probably going to win 14 games to do so.
Yeah, that's the problem. Kansas City's going to win 13.
Yeah.
One thing.
Well, no, if you can beat the Chiefs twice, I mean, they're going to lose more than one game.
They're not going to beat them twice.
Season.
They'll maybe split.
But that's what you have to do to win the division.
Right. Yeah.
It's a tall task, but I do think the talent's there. One thing, I want to see Khalil Mack play like Khalil Mack. Maybe we're past those days, but ever since he's come over from the Bears, I believe he's had like 2 of his worst seasons in the league.
It's easy to forget he's on the team. And, he put up 8 sacks last year, right? It's not like he was terrible.
No, but
he's not the force he used to be.
Yeah, it's like Joey Bosa is amazing, but they've never been able to get those 2 guys going at the same time for various reasons. So I would like to see that. The run defense, I'll just say the numbers here. 2021, 138.9 yards per game allowed. And last year got worse at 145.8. So that has to be fixed. You can't get gashed like that. You saw it in Jacksonville too. This is a 4th and 1 play. They're always getting destroyed on the ground.
The Chargers last few years to me have.
It's comical.
It seemed like whenever Herbert's playing awesome and the offense is clicking, their defense is getting waxed. And then when their defense is playing well, holding teams to low points, Herbert's terrible.
I mean, the 27-0 collapse was
mind-boggling. That literally what I just said was summed up in that one playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a complete flip.
That seems to be what the Chargers have been the last couple of years.
So we'll see what happens with them. It's crazy though. Like you have a top 5 quarterback in football.
I like him as the 5 seed. I think they'll be the 5 seed again.
And then go and
they could beat a 4.
Play Jacksonville. Play Jacksonville again.
They could beat the 4 and then lose Kansas City.
Let me ask you guys. Last thing on the Chargers. If they played Jacksonville 10 times in that playoff game, how many of them do you think they win?
7.
7.
8.
8. Okay. I'd probably say 6 or 7, but
6 or 7, yeah.
So we all do think they're a better team than the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, this year we'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to think. Like when you're comparing them to Jacksonville, I know Ziggy, you are high on the Jaguars. I think I'd still take the Chargers.
The Chargers too,
but I mean that just shows you how talented that team could be.
I just have to say,
yeah. Last thing.
People are saying that you guys keep counting the Broncos out of winning the division. They added the best quarterback in football this offseason. Ben DiNucci. He's going to carry him.
Ben DiNucci.
Didn't Sean Payton say he might be working for Walmart soon at one point?
Yeah.
This offseason.
Him and Will Jordan Humphreys.
So Denver, great transition, Ziggy. Last year they bring in Russell Wilson. He gets the 5-year, $245 million guarantee with $165 million guarantee, that contract. And everyone expects Denver to go to the Super Bowl, to go to the AFC Championship game. It is Broncos fans they're getting a mile high in a mile high city. They are excited. And my God, what a disaster it was. I've told you guys many times, I worked on a Broncos show last year. Watching those Broncos games, I'd have the Vikings on and Denver right next to it. The Vikings are having the most exciting finishes in the league. Denver is unwatchable. I mean, like, turn it off. I'd rather be staring at paint dry than watching the Denver Broncos last year. 5-12 season. If they had scored 20 points every game, that's it. 20 points. 11-6. I mean, this team, like the defense, I want to be fair, really, really good throughout a lot of the season. But as it went on, they had their slip-ups. Like despite Patrick Surtain, one of the best cornerbacks in football, he had his moments where even he wasn't playing up to his standard. And I think the real issue in Denver last year was just the culture. It was just a losing mentality. People didn't want to be there. I mean, you could see it on the field during games. Guys weren't giving 100%. It just a disaster with Hackett. And to be like, I guess it just lost control. You saw Sean Payton rip him the other day, saying it was the worst head coaching job ever, which seems a little harsh. But I mean, yeah, this team just had a complete complete falling apart last year. So when you look at Sean Payton now comes in, and it seems like right away he's trying to establish a new culture. Whether or not it'll be the right culture, we'll find out. But do you think that he's going to get Russell Wilson back on track, or do you think Russ is just washed at this point?
Look, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He had Drew Brees. He is respected. I don't think a locker room gets out of hand or any sort of nonsense will fly with a guy like that, which is a very good thing. Because I'm not going to go and say that Russell Wilson's washed up and terrible after playing one season on a new team. Things were just bad. Things were just bad. And if they're bad this year, that's different. This is a big year. But I think Russ has some left in the tank. I think he's super talented. I think on paper, you look at the roster, offense and defense in Denver, they could be the second best team in the AFC West. If you look at just look at the roster, look at the names. The talent on the offense is very good. I mean, I'm okay with it. Like I like Sutton, I like Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams. We'll see when he gets back. I think that's very solid. I mean, I think if Russ is playing well, it's a
Chargers?
very solid offense. It's close. I don't know. Probably not, but it's close.
But it's good enough.
It's good. Yeah, like it's good. It shouldn't be 5-12.
No,
that was outrageous.
Again, the offense was nothing working at all.
So I think that if there's no just nonsense, people want to be there, which I think Sean Payton will help with. I think Russ has still got it. I think it's going to be a better year in Denver. I really do.
How about you, Ziggy?
It's tough for the year to be a whole lot worse. I mean, it just is, right? Like you said 20 points, they go 11-6. Just to get people listening who might not know how few 20 points is. The Arizona Cardinals, the New Orleans Saints, and the Chicago Bears were all at about 20 points a game last year. Right? So their offense need to be as good as Justin Fields or whatever the Cardinals put together to win that many games. The defense is not going to be...
The Saints' offense was tough to watch, too.
The offensive talent there should be enough to be scoring 28 points a game. Yeah, 30 points a game.
I feel like you guys might be overrating that Denver offense a little bit, but it's
I mean,
talent.
I think Sutton, Jeudy, and Williams are good.
Yeah, I mean, Williams, you worry because he tore his ACL, his PCL, and his LCL. But to compensate that, I mean, the offensive line just got better, right? Like they brought in Ben Powers, one of the best run blocking guys in the league from Baltimore. You know, Mike McGlinchey, is he the best right tackle in the league? No, but he's been above average every year of his career.
Yeah, he's a solid guy. This is like the Notre Dame show right here.
Yeah, it is. I was just about to say the same thing.
Mike McGlinchey, let me just say real quick, super nice dude. I for one day was like a team manager with Notre Dame. I just wanted to try it out. And I will tell you, Brian Kelly is really short guy, way shorter than you think.
Really?
But we're on our way in, and I didn't really. It was fine. I wouldn't do it again. You're kind of like feel a little bit like
the bitch.
Yeah, for lack of a better term. But we're walking in, and McGlinchey walks by. I'm this short or this skinny freshman. He's just like, "What's up, dude? How's it going, man?" Like high five, and I'm like, It's awesome. Like, I love this guy. So I'll always be a Mike McGlinchey fan. He will come over and provide some good stability there on the right side of the offensive line. Look, there's one thing I wanted to also mention regarding the Denver O-line. They were 20th last year in pass blocking efficiency, but Russell Wilson was the second worst quarterback in terms of converting pressure into sacks. He was just, a lot of times he made that offensive line look a little worse than it actually was. So just another thing I'm saying here where everyone looked worse. I mean, there's just a complete delamination from the offense. And you could see a little bit of that, like Aaron Rodgers. We're talking how Rodgers is in New York now, wants to play, excited to play. Maybe we see that carry over to the entire offense. And yeah, if they're 20 points a game, you could be looking at a playoff team.
Which there's no reason they shouldn't be. There's really not.
There are two things that Broncos need to succeed this year. And if they can achieve these two things, they'll be competitive. If they don't achieve both, I think they're doomed. They need Russell Wilson to look something like the Seattle version. He doesn't have to be quite as good as like peak Seattle Russ, but he's got to be an above average quarterback. And they need the defense to not fall off with Ejiro Evero out. Right, losing your defensive coordinator with a defense that good that overperformed definitely hurts. Mm-hmm. I know Sean Payton wants to do his own thing, and that's totally cool. But they need the defense to stay not as good, but about as good as they were last year. This is going to have to be a team where the defense does the dirty work and the offense just carries their side of the ball.
I completely agree with that. The offense, like, despite, I know you guys seem to be very high, much higher than I thought on what the offense could be. But yeah, if this Broncos season is successful, I think you're seeing a very good defense and an offense that is, passable, at least watchable, like 20 points a game, passable offense. Real quick on the defensive side, they bring in Vance Joseph. He's the new defensive coordinator there. We could just quickly run through the three units as we have been doing for each team. They finished 26th in pressure rate for their defensive line. Got rid of Bradley Chubb during the season. Again, it was like kind of a fire sale at one point. They bring in, what's his name from? Zach Allen from the Cardinals and Frank Clark actually from the Chiefs. We'll see if those create improvements. Zach Allen kind of had a breakout year last year, and Frank Clark hasn't been as good as he used to be, but can still have a big moment here or there. When you look at their linebackers, pretty good. Alex Singleton, solid player. Josie Jewell, another good linebacker. Like decent guys in run and coverage.
Drew Sanders gets better every year.
Yeah, no, they have a good linebacking group. No, again, not really any super well-known star, but kind of like a lot of the AFC West, just a good linebacking corp. And then the secondary obviously is headlined by Surtain, who had the second best grade for PFF last year. So if Sauce Gardner's not in the league, we could be talking about the best cornerback in football, even with him. And then, of course, you have Justin Simmons leading the safeties. A good unit, like overall, very good.
Yeah, obviously it hurts to lose a defensive coordinator, like back when we lost Dick LeBeau. But when you have a good number of talented players, like for me, there's no reason to think that they were a top 10 unit last year defensively. There's no reason to believe that they're going to have just a sudden fall off. Even if they're a little worse, they'll be just a little worse, but nothing.
No, these guys should be fine. These guys should be fine when you look top to bottom on their roster.
It comes down to the offensive side of the ball. Russ can't stink. The offense can't be dysfunctional. That's what this comes down to. Yep. It's not the defense. They'll be totally fine. It's a good unit.
So if I say Denver Broncos right now, playoff team, if it got a gun to your head,
I'm gonna say no, just because of how good the AFC is.
Mm-hmm. If you put them in the NFC, you're saying yes?
I'd say yes. Yeah.
How about you, Ziggy?
I agree. It's the AFC wildcard spots are going to be so competitive, right? Like the AFC North has 3 teams that could realistically get a wildcard spot. The AFC East has
three more teams. I thought he was throwing shade at the Steelers.
No, like 3 wildcard spots.
Yeah.
The AFC East has at least 2 teams that could get a wildcard spot.
You'd
the
say
AFC,
I'd say
3, but
I'd say all 4.
Whoa. No,
he's saying in addition to the winner.
Yeah.
3 wild.
Okay.
Like every team. Okay, I'll put it another way.
Yeah.
Every single team in the AFC North and the AFC East has a real chance at a wild card spot. The Chargers have a good chance. The Titans or the Jaguars have a chance. Yeah, there are just so many teams.
Yeah.
And the Broncos have the misfortune of playing 3 solid teams in their division.
I mean,
good luck.
And look, we can't forget, like, this team was 5-12. to go 9-8 or 10-7 is a vast improvement, and that's probably what you need.
There
to
were
reach the
so
playoffs.
many games though that for them that just like a couple things went wrong, and they could have had a much better.
But do you see them going from 5-12 to 10-7?
No, I think they're an okay team. I don't think that. I think Payton's a great coach. I don't expect them to make this crazy jump to an 11 or 12 win team. Right?
Yeah, I don't think anything less than 9-8ish would make the playoffs in the AFC.
Oh, I'd agree.
You need 10.
Yeah.
It's because I mean even the Steelers, like we talk about their schedule, it's pretty easy to see the Steelers getting to 9-10 wins. Like they should get to 10 wins with the schedule they have.
Yeah.
And realistically, I don't expect Pittsburgh to win the AFC North.
And we're
so
not
that's a
playing
wild card.
KC twice a year.
Yeah. And one crazy thing there, Ziggy, when you just ran through the entire AFC there were like 3 teams that basically left out of playoff contention. It was the Texans, the Colts, and then our last team, the Raiders. So maybe you even think have a chance at the playoffs. We'll find out now. Obviously, the big story for them is Derek Carr is gone, the golden boy. Everyone that I know who's a Raiders fan loves Derek Carr, still loves him. They say he's a top 10 quarterback. Yeah, there you go, Ziggy. They say he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. Like, it's that kind of loyalty from Raiders fans to Derek Carr. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo comes in. Obviously, there were some of the concerns about whether or not he'd actually be playing. Seems like he's healthy. Should be good to go week 1. Now there's the whole Josh Jacobs drama. I think he's going to wind up playing at a sensational year last year. Like,
he will play for them this year.
Yeah,
There's no choice.
Oh, no, he will. He's not going to take the pay cuts. He had 1,650 yards last year.
Derek Carr.
Josh Jacobs.
I say that. That's really.
Derek Carr had a great, no, so Jacobs, I mean, had a great year.
No, Jacobs, he was amazing. Yeah.
And Ziggy, you're the one who mentioned before the show started, this Raiders team has a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Like the O-line is passable. And then the weapons, the skill position guys, you have Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers comes over from the Patriots. And you also have Hunter Renfrow and Michael. They drafted Michael Mayer, who catches everything. Another Notre Dame guy. Look at that.
Austin Hooper's fine.
Yeah, and this offense is not bad if Jimmy Garoppolo is able to stay healthy. He's a good quarterback.
Jimmy G went to a Super Bowl when he had a good offensive unit. And granted that Niners defense was ferocious.
And Kyle Shanahan.
The Raiders lack that. Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan versus Josh McDaniels is...
Derek Carr did not want to be there at all. He didn't care to play for the Raiders. He made that clear time and time again. And that, to me, was the main reason for why that went downhill, was him not wanting to play for that team.
It was just over.
With Jimmy G, he's a decent enough quarterback where I think that the Raiders' offense, he could be okay. I don't like them, though, right now on the defensive side of the ball, competing against Mahomes and Herbert 4 times a year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the huge concern.
That's the concern.
I don't know about that, right? So on the one hand, I mean, I get this team won 6 games last year. But on the other hand, lots of things went wrong, right? The average team in the NFL last year, if you leave halftime with a 1 touchdown or more lead, won 80% of their games. The Raiders went 1-5. Right, the Raiders lost to the Chiefs in overtime. Or that wasn't in overtime. The Raiders lost the Chiefs in regular time by 1 point. Mm-hmm. They lost to San Francisco in overtime by 3 points. Like, they could play with the big dogs. And I get they weren't going for moral victories last year, but this team improved after being able to challenge to a single point the Kansas City Chiefs.
Do you think, we'll get to the defense in just a second, do you think Carr to Garoppolo is an upgrade at quarterback?
If Garoppolo can stay healthy, I think it might be a slight upgrade, or it could be about the same.
I mean, like, regardless, you'll probably see an upgrade in play, because whether or not this year you'd rather have Carr or Garoppolo, Derek Carr did not play well last season.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I'd rather have somebody who's going to want to be there than not. Mm-hmm. So by default, yes, it's an upgrade.
Hey, but like, look at the other swap outs they made. They swapped Mac Hollins for Jacoby Myers. Yep. They swapped Foster Moreau for Austin Hooper. And they swapped Rocky Sin for David Long and Duke Shelley.
And Marcus Peters. They just got him.
They just got Marcus Peters. Like, there are plenty of good players on this Raiders team.
Yeah, we're really hyping this team up too much.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. Well, let's talk defense for a second here.
I don't think they'll be that good.
If you look at the D-line, we do like the D-line. Max Crosby, they get Tyree Wilson. He falls to them. Some people were talking about Wilson possibly being the number 1 pick in the draft, or at least number 2 at points in this offseason. If he's able to come in, recover a little bit more from that foot injury, Max Crosby with a rushing partner like that. I mean, Chandler Jones is also there. So you could get after the quarterback like Ziggy said before the show. If you can get after the quarterback, that can nullify a lot of other problems the defense has. But the secondary, which was horrible and probably still will be pretty bad, it's completely been revamped. Like you said, Shelley, David Long, and Marcus Peters are all new. I think Duke Shelley's okay. He had a good grade on PFF and everything last year. That's what people talked about all the time. There was a reason when he came in for the Vikings that he was targeted every single play. Like, there's a reason for that. He did a good job, but I'm not putting all my eggs in the Duke Shelley basket just yet.
Anyway, Trayvon Mayrig should take a step forward.
Yeah, I mean, well, hopefully. It's entering his third season, and Marcus Epps is also new there. So a new secondary, and then but the linebackers. The linebacker unit, I thought this was kind of funny. Denzel Perryman was by far the best guy they had last year. He's gone. He's a Texan now. No current linebacker on that team has played 600 snaps last season. I mean, it is a young group, one of the worst in football last year that really just got worse. So that could be a big weak spot on the defense. We'll see. Regardless of what happens in the secondary, it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, it's nice to have a guy like Crosby for sure. You make quarterbacks' lives difficult. I just don't see the Raiders' defense as a whole holding up.
There's only so much you could do against Mahomes, Herbert, and then we'll see if Peyton and Wilson become a problem.
I don't think it's really going to hold up.
I don't like hearing a team that has to play the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos for 6 of their games might have difficulties defending the pass.
Yeah.
Like, look, even if this team might not be a playoff team, we'll see what happens. Things always play out differently than you expect. This is absolutely a team that can steal a game from anyone. So they could be playing spoiler this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely something to watch out for.
They were up 17-0 on the road in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they lost that game by 1 point, right?
And they lost by a point, 30-29.
Let me ask you guys this to wrap up the Raiders. And actually, one more thing is just Josh McDaniels. It seems like just can't coach. From everything I've heard from even people who have talked to people who are in the know.
If he had Mahomes, he'd be good. It's
just like, I don't know. This guy's had a lot of trouble. So we'll see this year. It doesn't look like fortune's in his favor at the moment, but Josh McDaniels has struggled a lot as a head coach. Like, there are just some guys who are better as coordinators. I mean, obviously he had Belichick with him in New England, but so we'll see. It's just the head coaching hasn't really been great for Josh McDaniels, and I don't have a lot of faith in him from what I've heard. So that's another question mark in Vegas. The final question I'll have for you guys: when we talk about teams that can contend for that 7th spot, does Las Vegas even come to mind?
No, because I would look at the Steelers.
Everyone else, yeah.
I'd look at the Ravens. I'd look at the 3 teams in the North.
Yeah, everyone. Ziggy said.
Yeah. I'd look at there's the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins.
Ziggy, how about you?
The Chargers. No.
I think they can for the following reason. If you were to ask me, like, what do you want your team to be strong at? If you tell me they have strong offensive skill position players, strong pass rush, and a good quarterback, that's absolutely a team that can make the playoffs, no matter what division they're in. Will the Raiders play up to that potential? I don't know. But they could have a top 5. If they are top 5 in the league in sacks and can have a strong offense, like a top 10 offense, they were 14th last year. I could easily see them being top 10 this year. That's a team that can make the playoffs.
Okay. I mean, ever the optimist over there in Virginia.
I think the Raiders have to have a really good season to be 9-8.
Yeah, I look at the team and I say probably the worst defense in the division and probably the worst quarterback, maybe third.
I'm going to give them 7-10.
So I'm out too. But Ziggy, I like the optimism. That's why people stick around.
Right. They have there's decent quarterback, good weapons, and
I don't know, is this the first time Jimmy G's had like probably a bottom 5 wide receiver core?
I don't know. Does he? He might. I mean, yeah, I don't think they're at bottom 5. They have Davante Adams.
Are they bottom 5? They have Davante Adams.
Oh, I totally forgot that they had Davante Adams on that team.
I don't think Adams and
Renfro
Renfro
just walked off the show.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot he was on the
Adams and
team.
Renfro's a good core. He's got good weapons.
And Myers, Jacoby Myers too, and Michael Mayer.
Added to the list.
Josh Jacobs,
added
yeah.
to the list.
I mean, it's a lot of good skill position players.
Ziggy leaves the show.
We don't know when he'll come back.
Yeah,
All right, let's. He's had enough. He said, "I'm done." There's an empty. If you're listening on Spotify, there is an empty chair right now on the screen. We don't know.
I
where
can't believe
Ziggy
I forgot about Davante Adams. Maybe because he was
That's
so
okay,
inept
that's
last
okay.
year.
That's right. It's late at
What do you
night.
mean he was great last season?
He was great,
awesome.
but
He was awesome.
but he was just so inept because the Raiders
the
were so
team
inept.
was irrelevant.
Yeah. Like he was irrelevant
All right,
because
I'm
the Raiders
gonna
were
come in-
irrelevant.
Everyone's talking about Jefferson 24/7.
Yeah.
for a good
For a good
reason. I
reason.
mean, the guy's amazing.
Yeah, for a good reason.
Yeah, don't put me on that soapbox.
Ziggy, we got to do our draft. Come back.
Let's finish. We don't know when Ziggy will come back. We'll start just to wrap up here. The non-quarterback Ziggy is back now.
Sorry for the excursion.
Do you find
The
a
rat just
Yeah.
so I'm cooking some beans.
Oh, so it wasn't the Adams comment.
Oh, we thought you left because of Zach's Davante Adams comment.
No, I mean Zach's Davante Adams comment was ridiculous. But no, as our fans may know, I've been battling rats in my apartment for several months now. My landlord is somewhat useless, but the rat this time, I'm like cooking some beans. It decided to be a great idea to somehow fall or like climb up my oven and turn the heat way up
What?
on some beans I've been simmering.
Wait.
It like must have bumped into the dial.
Wait, did you see it?
So yeah.
So
So it's just there right now.
so throughout this show, you were watching a rat climb up your stove.
Well, I can't leave the show, but it finally, when it turned up the heat, it was too much. I had to turn it down or I was going to burn the apartment.
Did you get the
Fans,
rat?
if you look back, you'll see there are instances where I'm like looking
I
to the
saw
side.
you.
That is me surveilling a rat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
At least
that
it's just one.
sucks. Is it gone?
At least it's just one.
Oh, well, no, there's multiple rats in here. I'm highly confident because that one did not have any blood.
Oh,
Ziggy, what if you woke up at like 6 a.m. all groggy and there was a rat on your face?
Perfect. Easy kill.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's finish up the AFC West. The non-quarterback player to watch in this division. I mean, there are a lot of guys here. I think I'm going to go with J.C. Jackson, actually, because like we were saying, if he's able to come back and return to his Patriot form, that secondary in Los Angeles gets elevated a lot and could become probably a top 10 unit in football. So I'd like to see if he can come back from injury as well to return to the player he used to be. J.C. Jackson is my guy. Anyone for either of you two?
Sky Moore breakout season next Tyreek Hill. Sky
Really?
Moore. Yep.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, Ziggy's got him in fantasy. How about you, Ziggy?
For me, I think it has to be all-pro Tommy Townsend. One of the best punters in the league. Actually, that's not true. In Kansas City, what does the punter even have to do anyway? In all seriousness, it's probably got to be Frank Clark. We saw in Kansas City, he was sort of an on and off kind of player. Like during the regular season, you could count on him for like 4 sacks. And then the playoffs will just get you 5. It'll be interesting to see whether a lot's going to be asked of him in Denver to carry this offense or to carry this defense after, losing Chubb last year hurt them a lot. Seeing what he's able to do in this scheme and what value he can provide to their defense will mean a lot for what goes on in Denver this year.
That's got to be one of the best jobs in the world now, is the Chiefs punter.
And here's the thing. Yeah. He's really good. He might be the best punter in the entire league.
It's just crazy how Kansas City has I know that it's the punter, but we're talking about everywhere you look on Kansas City, there's just like, oh yeah, he's really, really good. It's like, what? How?
Like he's on the field once a game, twice a game.
Yeah, but he's really good when he is. And I mean, like even the kicker, Bucker's great.
He's one of the best in the league.
They're loaded everywhere. Great job by Andy Reid. Okay, and then predictions. I know it's chalk, but it just, if we're gonna be serious here, the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders feels the order we did it in. That feels like it has to be the pick.
Yeah, the same ranking.
Someone you can say you could flop the Chargers either way, and I wouldn't really. I mean, if you put Broncos over Chargers,
I think you could
suspect.
I think you could maybe even flop the Broncos and the Raiders.
You could, yeah.
If the Broncos stink again, you never know.
The Chargers can win this division. They're good enough to win the division.
I don't think so.
Man, I really love the Chargers.
No, I don't love them. I'm just saying they're good enough to do it. And
that would take the Chiefs winning less than 11
games. The Chiefs win 12
games.
games. Like the Chargers can be a 12-win team.
And the Chargers still go win the division.
They need to beat Kansas City. Go beat them. Find a way.
Oh yeah.
Find a way. I mean, they took
them
to the wire. They took them to the wire last year. Ziggy, how about you? You with us, or you got something crazy here?
Gun to my head, if I have to say how the division is going to go, not only am I agreeing with your chalk, Paul, I think that is probably the division outcome I'm most confident in the NFL this year.
Okay.
I can't see the Chiefs losing. They don't lose the division. because they have to host the AFC Championship game because that's just what they do now. Can't do that if you lose the division.
Yeah, I'm trying to get any other division.
They've hosted what, like 7 straight?
They've hosted since
5
Mahomes.
straight.
5
Yeah.
straight.
You know, the only one,
18, 19, 21, 22.
Jeez.
Yeah, five in a row.
It's just like, that's crazy. He's never played a play. He's never played a
The
road
Patriots couldn't do that.
It's not like a special occasion anymore. It's like, I remember I drove to the AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh. It's like, oh, this is going to be sick. It's like a special fun event.
Yeah.
Now it's just annual.
It's and even the year they weren't the 1 seeds when Tennessee lost to the Bengals on the Tannehill interception. So like, I mean, even when they're not the 1 seed, they're still finding ways to host that game. And I think the Bengals probably win one of these AFC Championship games that they're in. I know they won one in Kansas City, but I think they probably win the other one if it's in Cincinnati last year.
I would agree. Yeah.
So they get the job done. They find a way. Even when Buffalo could play them on a neutral field, Bengals go in. The Bengals are really like their biggest ally here in some ways. Wow, who would have thought that? Okay, so there you go with the AFC West. Ziggy, the NFC West would be the only other one. I'm pretty confident in 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals.
But if Murray gets healthy early, that could easily be upset.
It could, yeah. But I'd agree with you. I think this is the one I'd probably put the most. That or the NFC West. We're going to end the show here with a draft. I believe this was Zach, right? This was you who came up with this one?
EP Zach.
We haven't done a draft in a while, and we are struggling to think of some ideas. So if you can think of any, please leave a comment of a fun draft we could do. There's always like color drafts and stuff, but Zach, ever the opportunist,
The guy who just loves food.
who loves food, said, let's go with
You're right.
the sauce draft. There are lots of great sauces. I'm skeptical of this draft, but
There could be several 1-1s and I wouldn't hate it.
yeah, no, I mean, there are a lot of good sauces out there, so I'm okay with this. We'll see how it goes.
Do you want to know a special fact? Do you know the ketchup at McDonald's is a different type of Heinz ketchup because it
Specifically?
because it tastes better with their fries.
I mean, we're talking about a judge who knows
He
unbelievable
knows
amounts of knowledge.
He
on
knows
sauces.
There's just a little random
Like
fact.
Zach might be the worst judge in the world for 99.9% of the categories that we've ever done. This is one that he knows.
And I bet you the ones I like, he'll be like, oh, no way.
No, this guy's palate is off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
I actually got
All
to tell you, my sauce, I'm very specific on my sauces.
Of course he is. All right. The order will go Paul, Ziggy, Jack. We'll each take 3 picks of sauces. I have the 1-1. Not my favorite sauce, but I believe the global favorite sauce and the face of sauces, ketchup, will be my 1-1.
Now, Heinz ketchup?
It's Heinz ketchup. Come on. We're talking ketchup.
Heinz ketchup is the
ketchup.
prototypical ketchup.
Yeah, that's my 1-1 too. That's the right pick, I think.
Remember
See-
that when Zach's judging.
That might be the 1-1 in notoriety, but it's not the best sauce. The best sauce, I think, without question, and what I'm taking, marinara sauce. You put it on
that's good,
pasta.
yeah.
You put it on pizza.
Mozzarella
You use
stick.
it as a dipping sauce for your mozzarella sticks. I mean, that sauce is just
Should I give
almost
Ziggy a
every
redo?
good thing.
I feel like I should give Ziggy a redo. I hate marinara sauce.
I don't
No,
care
no,
if
no.
you pick against me because you don't like it.
Marinara sauce is amazing.
I cannot believe what I just got at pick 3 in barbecue sauce.
It's a great pick.
And then I'll come back around and take Sauce Gardner.
Oh, I was going to take Sauce Gardner.
I'll allow it.
Oh,
He's-
sure.
He's the best sauce in the world at what he does.
God, all right, barbecue sauce and sauce gardner. Ziggy, Ziggy, what are you going with?
I've already lost the draft, but here's the facts. If you got marinara,
yeah, but you haven't lost the draft to the public yet.
no, here's what's easy.
No, people love
Buffalo
marinara
sauce.
Buffalo. I mean, hey,
Oh,
hey,
yeah, you gotta
Ziggy
love
coming
a
back now,
buffalo
Ziggy.
sauce.
Ziggy, that might be a
Oh, yeah, Zach
comeback.
loves
I love
buffalo
buffalo
sauce.
sauce.
Yeah,
Ziggy went from my least favorite to my absolute favorite.
I mean, you guys just gave me Pippin to Jordan with mustard here. Ketchup and mustard
mustard
is just.
sucks.
Oh, no,
Mustard
mustard.
sucks.
Oh,
Mustard's
Mustard's
garbage.
dude, Dijon, spicy brown.
Dude,
I mean, you could.
You eat mustard?
Mustard is
Oh,
amazing.
mustard's gross.
If you,
I
mustard's
wouldn't take
awesome.
mustard top 10.
There's a reason why it's yellow. and looks like
There's
shit.
a reason why it fell.
No, it's good. It's good. All right, so we have ketchup. I have ketchup and mustard. Buffalo is what I was gonna go with, Ziggy. So you kind of put me in a
That would have been a winning.
mustard ketchup buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's elite. There's a few here that I'm thinking about. Oh, gosh. All right, I'm gonna go. You know, I'm gonna take mayo. I'm gonna take mayo.
That's what I was eyeing.
It's again not like a teriyaki sauce is a little more flavorful to me, but mayo just has a lot of uses.
Mayo on like a turkey sandwich is fantastic.
Yeah, like you could use mayonnaise for a lot of things. I mean, maybe that's a bad pick.
Hey, Will Levis loves mayo.
A little too much.
So do I.
A little too much.
You dip fries into mayo.
Really? You
Ketchup,
put fries
mustard,
in
mayo.
there?
Yeah.
That's kind of
It's good. No, it's good. You gotta try it.
It's kind of gross.
I mean,
That's good.
I mean, even I'm saying like,
I also take mayo in my coffee.
I like a BLT with mayo.
Yeah,
Oh,
BLT
yeah.
with mayo is
Yeah.
good.
All right, what do you got here?
Isn't it Ziggy?
Oh, Ziggy, what do you have?
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
so
there's
you
so
eat
many.
mayo?
No,
No, right? That's
it's got egg whites.
Ah, okay. Okay.
There's a lot of choices here. You know, I could go for a mole sauce. I could go for pesto, sweet and sour. I mean, you got to love a good hollandaise, but none of that is as good as this sauce. You need it for almost anything delicious you can make. You can dip things in it. It's things I know Zach likes. Give me soy sauce.
That's a
Soy
good one.
sauce is good. Yeah.
You know, you got sushi. What are you dipping it in? Teriyaki sauce? No chance.
I dip it
Let's
in
go in
spicy
some
mayo.
soy sauce.
I actually
Spicy
hate.
mayo?
I
You
hate soy
what?
sauce.
Oh, spicy! I forgot.
What's
spicy
wrong
mayo
with
is
you?
good.
Spicy
I
mayo
hate
is good.
sauce.
Can that
soy
count
sauce.
in the
Do you
category
not
of
like
mayo?
Sure.
What?
That's I guess that falls under the mayo category.
What, spicy
right?
mayo?
Yeah.
I mean,
To
isn't
a degree.
that like hot sauce and
That's
mayo
like
together?
sriracha.
Or sriracha. Yeah, it's
That's
sriracha.
sriracha. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sriracha.
I don't know if
mayo.
I'd count that.
It's a mixture of sauces.
Okay. Well, hey, half of it is.
Yeah. Half
All right,
of it.
Jack, you have barbecue sauce and Sauce Gardner. What are you taking with
That
yours?
sounds like a winner to me, regardless of what I pick here.
I don't want Sauce Gardner on my team.
I will. Are you kidding? He's the best sauce on the planet. He'd shut you down.
Probably. I'm not a receiver.
I'm gonna round it out with Chick-fil-A sauce. That stuff's amazing.
This is an interesting team you put together.
And
Again, good sauce.
And
yeah.
then honorable mention, sweet and sour.
I can't believe nobody chose Frank's hot sauce.
Well, that's
Frank's.
Buffalo.
Wait, Frank's
Yeah,
hot
that's
sauce.
Buffalo.
Are you
Buffalo,
counting that
it's
under Buffalo?
Of course,
Is it Buffalo?
No, I don't know if that's
Well-
Buffalo.
well, they have-
Buffalo
they
sauce is different than Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah, I guess it's not hot sauce. But
Yeah, but
I'm
look,
counting-
original Buffalo sauce is like Frank's Red Hot with like basically nothing else.
Frank's Red Hot has a buffalo sauce. See, look, if we were separating Frank's Red Hot and Buffalo, I would substitute.
Oh, okay.
I think.
All
I
right,
think
we're
counting.
saying Buffalo's under hot sauce.
Yeah, I think we'll say.
What is authentic Buffalo sauce? It's Frank's Red Hot with some butter.
Okay.
I know.
Works for
I
me.
know.
What
I
is
know.
spicy mayo? It is.
I know. I won somebody's draft with
Oh.
Sauce Gardner.
At
Yeah,
least-
you want all the Jets.
No, but somebody else.
Okay. All right. Let's be careful. All right. Here we go, Zach. So what sauces, real quick? What we leave out? Anything crazy?
Sweet and sour,
Teriyaki.
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 Oh,
yeah.
so I just include the thing you need for both sweet and sour and teriyaki. My bad. It's the tongue debate all over again.
Honey mustard.
honey mustard.
People like honey mustard. I mean, that's a big
tongue
one.
Tongue debate has become a
Zesty.
great debate.
Zesty.
Zesty is good. I was gonna take zesty.
Zach, would taking mustard and honey mustard be too much of a?
Yeah, it's
I
overlap.
forgot honey mustard.
Oh, yeah, no, I was shocked. Yeah, honey mustard's amazing.
I'm
honey
not,
mustard's amazing.
I don't like honey mustard.
I don't pick things I can't eat.
Oh, I should have gone that over Chick-fil-A. So honey mustard's
Any other
good.
sauce? What other sauce?
I feel like there's a really good one out there that we're
Yeah,
just
well,
missing.
there's like dressing. There's like ranch.
Oh,
like-
ranch,
that-
yeah.
Do you count? I guess you dip that.
All right, let's wrap it. I'm
Yeah, all
tired.
right, let's finish this here. Here we go. Paul has ketchup, mustard, and mayo. Ziggy has marinara sauce, buffalo sauce, and soy sauce. Really surprised that Ziggy, you didn't come out with like a Worcestershire or something like that. Actually, good sauce. Good sauce.
Worcestershire.
Oh, Worcestershire sauce is good, but also
Hoisin.
I can't really eat that. I can't eat the good kind.
Hoisin sauce. Oh, that's
Poison sauce is good, but
And Jack with barbecue sauce, Sauce Gardner, and Chick-fil-A sauce. I mean, not bad.
This is amazing to me.
That is pretty good. You have your winner?
I have my winner.
All right, here we go. The winner is
We have to give it to Paul for this one.
all right. I'm
I
surprised.
couldn't pick Jack because I can't pick a Jack.
I mean,
Putting it out there.
ketchup.
It's a very
mustard.
good one.
That's fair. That's fair. Ketchup, mustard, mayo. That's like an all-time sauce draft. Like, that's like
That could be three of the Mount
Yeah,
Rushmores.
that's like
Yeah.
a generic. Like people will think that you won that.
That is a barbecue.
It's
That
very,
is-
it's,
that is
it's a
barbecue.
very me draft. Just going with like the generic ones, and then you guys kind of throw in
Well,
these
that's
like.
fine. though,
wait,
yeah.
you said ketchup, mustard, mayo is a barbecue? If you want a barbecue, pick the guy who took barbecue sauce.
True.
Yeah, but that's just one sauce. I get 3 sauces at the barbecue. I get the
Yes,
mayo, I get
yes.
the ketchup, and I get
you
the...
Well,
love-
you
Wouldn't
probably
you love
put
Sauce
ketchup
Gardner
on a
in
hot
barbecue?
dog, don't
You
you?
would love Sauce Gardner at your barbecue.
I like
Maybe.
Sauce Gardner.
Wait, Zach, do you put ketchup on a hot dog?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, game over. Your opinion doesn't matter.
My
Yeah.
ketchup-
Night night.
I'll put
No, it's
ketchup on
gotta be
eggs.
mustard. It has to be.
No,
mustard.
it's ketchup.
You
I
can't
get-
put ketchup on a hot dog.
I'm curious, Zach. If
I don't
Jack-
understand. Where did that come from all of a sudden? Like, you can't put
Good
ketchup on a hot dog.
taste.
What do you
Well, I mean,
good
mustard
taste?
is just so much
Wait,
better.
I've heard that too from like 10 people.
Well, no, mustard
My
is
family-
just
my
so
family-
much
In,
better.
in
ridicules
Chicago,
me.
we
It's
know
a
how to
fair
eat a
Yeah,
hot dog.
yeah. We get called
No,
communists.
ketchup's amazing on a hot dog.
Yeah.
But mustard is just so
Wrap
much.
the
No.
show. I don't
Okay,
want to hear this.
one question, Zach.
Yeah.
If you swapped out Sauce Gardner with honey mustard for Jack,
It still wouldn't have lost. It still would have lost. I don't like honey mustard.
Oh, okay.
Or
Well,
I've
what can I
just never been
say?
a honey mustard fan.
I draft well. I draft well, and I guess that'll be on display in the
You don't
fantasy
play. You don't
drafts.
play a good season. Like, you draft, but we didn't play
I
a good
draft,
season.
yeah, I have big winners who get suspended, and like
What is it?
ketchup will tear
What did
something.
we
early.
call Paul? What do we when we were betting? Public Paul.
Oh, yeah,
that was
I
quite
mean,
the public.
It's a great
that was
public.
quite
It's
the
Good on
public.
paper, then doesn't perform.
Yeah.
But when they show up, dominant. When they show
Yeah,
up, dominant.
occasionally.
All right. So that's it for the division shows. We've had 8 straight now where we have broken down every single division in football leading up to the 2023 season. A lot of work and actually some really good results. So thanks to everyone who's been watching and commenting, good and bad. Again, we don't care. The engagement's good for us. If you have any topics, we'll be doing a lot of training camp stuff and preseason stuff leading up to the season. The schedule might change a little bit once the games actually start week 1, and we might maybe even 3 times a week, depending on if we can fit that in. But for now, Tuesday, Thursday, leading up to the season, that's where you could catch us on YouTube. You could also see videos actually on Spotify as well now. They have a cool feature where they've had it for a while, but you can watch us there. And then make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're just here to have a good time. We're just here to have a good time. So if you're willing to join and like having fun, this is the show for you. And we will see you next week on the Paul Farrington Show. For Jack, Ziggy, Zach, and Paul. See ya.